Alright guys, we're back and we're going to talk about stat priorities, gemming, the annoying druid that just flew by me in bird form, JK. And yeah, so let's get right into it. Basically, you're going to have a very specific stat priority. It's pretty straightforward, pretty simple. You want to have strength as your primary stat. You want to have your hit at 8%. You want to have your expertise at 26. And then from there it goes crit, mastery, haste. So as you can see here, I actually fortunately right now was able to reforge and exactly hit 8% hit, which is pretty damn cool. So my special attacks are not going to miss. They're going to hit. Um, a lot of gear is expertise heavy, which is difficult. Like right now, fully reforged, I'm still sitting at 31 expertise. My dodge and parry chance will be nil at 26 expertise, but unfortunately, I still have a couple pieces that are kind of, keeping that expertise a little bit higher than I'd like it to. So when you reforge, you want to make sure that you just have two things covered, and then it's very straightforward after that. You want to have your 8% hit, like I said, your 26 expertise, and then dump the rest in the crit. And the mastery and the haste after that, they kind of just go with the flow. I pretty much just reforge as much as I can into crit. There's a lot of abilities that we spec into in the spec that I showed you that rely on having heavy crit and flourish on having heavy crit. So you're going to do a lot more damage with that. Basically, if you're saying, well, how do I reforge? It really hasn't changed that much since initially, if you saw any guides back from like 4.0.6. But basically, like I said, if you're under the hit or expertise caps, reforging to hit those should be your top priority. Try not to reforge your crit off for hit or expertise, though, if you can. Try and reforge, mastery or haste, before you need to reforge any critical strike. Because like I said, we want to try and keep as much as we can, right? So basically, if a piece has crit on it, what you reforge or don't reforge to changes depending on the other stat. So any excess expertise or any haste should be reforged to hit or mastery, depending on how comfortable you are with your rage at that point. And you likely don't have to reforge any hit or mastery to any other stat unless you just have an abundance of hit, which probably is going to be very rare. There's not a lot of DPS pieces that have a lot of hit on it, so that's probably not going to be very often that you'll get into that situation. One thing I want to bring up though too, and it's a mistake I made. Item level doesn't always mean it's a better piece. So in my opinion, if you get a 370, if you find like a 378 cloak, for instance, and this is the exact spot that I made the mistake. Okay, as soon as the 4.2 came out and you could do the Thrall cloak quest to get that 365 cloak, it had the secondary stats I wanted in it. It had crit. And if you look here, this nice little 378 cloak I have, the bladed flame ref cover, which you get from Firelands rep, has haste and expertise. It would have been better for me to have the 365 cloak due to secondary stats than the 378 cloak. But I was so excited that I got it, I really wasn't paying attention, and I deleted the other cloak, which was very annoying. So that's one of the reasons why my expertise is actually over cap right this second. So, like I said, just because something has a higher item level doesn't always mean it's better for you at that time. It may be something you want to keep in the bank for a minute, you get some other pieces, and then later on it factors into your grand scheme of things, then bust it out of the bank. Other than that, I always go for the stat priority over the item level. Okay, so we talked about stat priorities. I think we pretty much got that down pat. We're going to go over gemming and enchanting now. Now, it's very simple how to gem. Pretty much your meta is always going to be the reverberating Shadow Spirit Diamond. Looking at my helm here. Basically, it's going to give you 54 strength and 3% increased critical damage. It requires you to have at least 3 red gems. And the Bold Infernal Ruby, which is your plus 40 strength gem, which is a red gem, you're going to have a lot of those. So there should be no reason why you can't have this. Pretty much from there, I gem everything strength unless the socket bonus is going to end up giving me more strength than a strength gem. So for instance, the helm is a prime example. The socket bonus was plus 30 strength if I had an orange gem. So I popped one in that was 20 strength, 20 crit strike. So I'm getting a more benefit, get a little bit more crit, and I'm getting 50 strength overall. Whereas if I would have gemmed, with a bold inferno ruby, I would only got 40. So I actually got an extra 10 strength. Plus, I was able to get 20 crit strike rating. So that's pretty much the only time I don't put a bold inferno ruby in a situation. Everything else, as you can see, 40 strength. Like the shoulders, here's another prime example. Yeah, I had a 10 strength bonus, but I would have more strength by just putting straight 40 strength in there. So that's pretty much my way of doing things. I don't really waver from that. As far as enchants go, basically your helm, you're going to want to have the Arcanum of Wildhammer if you're Alliance, and that's going to give you, your plus 60 strength and 35 mastery rating. For your shoulders, you want the Greater Inscription Jagged Stone, and that is from having Exalted status in Deep Home. For your cloak, you want to have Greater Critical Strike, and for your chest, you want to have Peerless Stats, which is going to give you plus 20 to all stats. For your gloves, you want to do Mighty Strength, which is going to give you plus 50 strength. For your bracers, you want to have Major Strength, which is going to give you plus 50 strength. And then your legs, you're going to want to get a leatherworker to make you a dragon scale leg armor, and I suggest that you actually get the match yourself instead of just buying one on the auction house. I've seen them go upwards on my server of 800 to 1,000 gold, which is a ripoff. And basically that dragon scale leg armor is going to give you 190 attack power and increase your critical strike rating by 55. So that's huge. And then for your boots, you basically want to give them Lava Walker, which is going to give you 35 mastery rating and minor movement speed. And then back to gemming real quick for a moment. You want to look at your belt. There's really not an enchant for it, but you throw the belt buckle on it, which allows you to put another gem in the belt. So as you see on my belt, I'm running dual 40 strength bold inferno rubies. So that's pretty much it for gemming and for enchants. Actually, now that I think of it, I did not mention the weapon. Sorry about that. The weapons, offhand, main hand, doesn't matter. Landslide. Landslide is the only way to go. There's no other enchant to have on these weapons. And honestly, if you put something else on there, you're just an idiot because you're really handicapping yourself. Landslide basically just lets you know it permanently enchants a weapon, sometimes increase attack power by 1,000 for 12 seconds when striking a melee. So as you can see there, that is a very, very, very good bonus, a very good enchant to have. As far as gemming, enchanting, stat priorities, that's pretty much all I can think of off the top of my head. Like I said, just make sure you're gemming properly. Don't get into, oh, I need more hits, so instead of, just reforging or waiting till I get a better piece, I'm just going to gem in the hit. Don't do that. You're wasting your money, you're wasting your gold, and you're handicapping your tune. Strength is the way to go, like I said, unless the bonus calls for something better, then so be it. What is going on behind me right now? I feel like a full raid is going on. Anyways, alright, so that's it. Next we're going to talk about tips and tricks. Stay tuned. Alright guys, I'm back with the conclusion of the Fury PVE video. This video I just want to say was a lot of fun to make, and I appreciate any views. If this video was helpful for you, I'd appreciate if you would like and favorite it. Definitely subscribe to my channel. I do vlogs, not necessarily daily, but throughout the week, showing the real life of a gamer, not just in the game, but outside the game as well. There's more guides definitely coming. I'm going to be doing some more PvP guides for both my Death Knight and my Warrior. And In closing, I'd like to say the Warrior is a really fun class to play. A lot of people say it's broken or doesn't do enough DPS, but I have had no problem topping the charts. And I really think when people make these comments about classes and say that they're that they're underpowered or nerfed too much or help us Blizzard, we suck. I just really think that they haven't put the time and effort into reading and doing the research to really learn how to play their class. Like I say, I have no problem keeping up, if not smoking arcane mages. I haven't had a DK beat me yet. Classes that should beat me, and classes I've gone and learned to play on my own, and even exceed my warrior because I learned to play those classes properly. But I will say that if you learn your class, if you get into the stat priorities, the gemming properly, the gear, the reforging, everything, you can be very competitive in the top of the charts with a Fury PVE warrior. Don't get into the whole gear situation like I said before, where just because it's a 378 means it's better than your 359. Look at secondary stats. Make sure that you're not taking an item that has expertise and haste on it, which when you're already at the expertise cap and haste is the last or the least important stat for a Fury Warrior. Manage your cooldowns properly. Both offensive, defensive, raid walls, everything. Make sure that you're not rage starving yourself and you're not hitting abilities too soon. There's nothing wrong with waiting an extra second for an ability to come up, to generate that extra rage you're going to get instead of like throwing a heroic strike out there instead, and rage starving yourself for a good 3 to 4 seconds. Make sure you're battle shouting when it's up. Make sure you're using enraged regeneration. Just follow the guide, follow the class, do more research if you have to. I tried to compile as much information in one video as I could. But I hope that the spec, the rotation, the gearing, and other tips that I brought together was able to help you. I know when I first started playing this class, there wasn't a lot of information out, and I started playing this back, Wrath of the Lich King. So that's why one of the reasons why I made this video. I don't see a lot of PVE videos getting made. I see more PvP videos than anything else. And so, as much of an avid PvPer as I am, I originated as a PvE player. So I wanted to come out and show some of my roots in this video. Other than that, I think I pretty much covered anything. If anyone has any questions, concerns, corrections, if I made a mistake in the video, whatever, please feel free to PM me or ask in the comments, or a video response would be great too. And we can go from there. I definitely don't mind taking people under my wing and helping them out where I can. And also below in the description, I'm going to go ahead and post my macros. I have one that I just call the one shot, and basically when I pop that, you're looking at a few things getting popped, and that is Recklessness, that is Death Wish, and Inner Rage. So I'll go ahead and put that in there, and you can modify the macro too. I mean the trinkets I'm currently using are the Heart of Rage and the License to Slay. So I don't have any on-use trinkets, but if you have like the TB trinket, for instance, or something of that nature where on use you gain 1600 or 1700 strength, you can loop that into the macro too, and it will definitely give you more controlled situations over your DPS. But don't limit yourself to a macro either. Pay attention to cooldowns and know that you can use Death Wish every 2 minutes and do so. So like I said, if you enjoyed the video, I'd appreciate if you like and favored it. Definitely subscribe to my channel. And as I say at the end of all my videos, stay tuned for more. Machine out.